Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Balaji O, and today we are having another conversation with the dynamic Debbie Horovitch. Now, as you know, Debbie's a seasoned advertising media professional working out of Canada. She's worked with all the big names from Visa to Lexus, Toronto International Film Fest, the Globe and Mail newspaper. She's done it all. But Debbie's specialty is connecting authority and branding with media insights. Debbie leverages the latest technology and platforms, and whenever I'm looking to use some latest, greatest technology, I know who to talk to. But today, we're not talking technology. Today, we're actually going to be talking about a craze that has gone from just being a fad to being a trend to being something that the top businesses are leveraging in droves. Yes, I'm talking about adult coloring books. If you haven't heard about this phenomenon that is sweeping the nation, after this, you're going to see it everywhere. It's in the bookstores at Barnes & Noble. It's on the #1 spot on Amazon.com. If you don't know about adult coloring books, you're in the right place. So lean forward, turn off the distractions. Debbie's about to educate us on how you can't afford to overlook this business trend. Debbie, welcome.
Thank you so much, Balaji. I'm so excited to hear you describe it like that. I'm just as excited to be here and to talk with everyone today.
Now, Debbie, you're going to have to do a level set for us here, because putting the word adult next to the word coloring in the same sentence, I mean, listen, even though I know about the phenomenon, it still feels a little unusual. So what in the world is going on? Why are adults coloring books?
A great question. Thanks so much for setting me up for that. Really, it's funny because the trend has actually been growing, and it came over from Europe, really peaking there around 2013 was where we saw it to start to take off. Something really interesting was happening in France, where it started to be suggested that the coloring books, and even adult coloring books, which have always existed, but it was just only a few people who were doing them, that adult coloring books were presented to the public again as art therapy. And so it really took off. I don't know why, but in France, people just embraced the trend, and they said, oh, well, if it's art therapy, then I'll give it a shot. And it just made it really accessible for everyone. It made it something not so embarrassing for people to do. You know, it's not children's coloring books with really simple designs. These are adult coloring books with really complex designs. And it's not just for little 3-year-old girls necessarily doing princess coloring. It can be really dark and gothic and geometric and complex designs that appeal to a logical brain, or that appeal to men even.
This is pretty stunning. I mean, it's not intuitive, although when you talk about it from a therapeutic standpoint, I can kind of see how that connection might happen. So it sounds like this trend came from Europe, particularly in France. It's crossed the pond over to the US and North America in general right now. How are coloring books performing on the best-selling lists right now?
Well, that's the thing that just stuns me, is that when we take a look at anything in business, we want to take a look at, we want to consider when we're predicting any sort of activity, especially marketing activity or marketing investment in business, what we want to consider is how it will be received by the audience. Especially our advertising, you know, we want to know, is it going to turn into sales? Will it be received by the audience in the way that we intend? And will it give the message? Will people actually appreciate it in the way that we're investing in for our business? And what's really crazy about this trend is that in March of 2015 on Amazon.com, so the US Amazon, the #1 and #2 books for sale were Joanna Basford's Secret Garden series, which this is not just in some adult coloring book section on Amazon. This was overall paid for books being sold on Amazon, the #1 and #2 position, which indicates to me that there is way more people doing adult coloring books and enjoying adult coloring books than there is adult coloring books serving them.
Interesting. So if I can extrapolate from what I'm hearing you say, Debbie, it sounds like as a business owner, my customers are likely already adopting adult coloring books.
Exactly. It's just like the trend of people doing crosswords or people doing Sudoku.
Yes.
We are just probably weeks away from starting to see little adult coloring designs in newspapers.
Wow.
In transit, like free daily transit papers. I predict I will see it in just a few weeks in Toronto. I'm seeing even like if I see a discarded page of a newspaper on the ground, literally, I saw a page from the Toronto Star on the sidewalk. This was the universe speaking to me a few weeks ago. Saw a page from the Toronto Star on the sidewalk. I look down, I look at it, and doesn't the page say exactly adult coloring books are everywhere?
That's fascinating. That is fascinating. So Debbie, so the general public is already hip to this trend of adult coloring books, and this has been growing for the past 18 months to 24 months. What type of businesses, though, do you think can really benefit from maybe creating an adult coloring book for their customers or their staff? What kind of businesses need to be looking closely at this?
Great question. And it's really unusual for me as a marketer to be so general and to really give this sort of an answer. But so far, my result when I'm playing around with the idea with some of my peers and we're brainstorming and tossing ideas back and forth, so far, I have not come up with a business that shouldn't be looking at this. Now, of course, there are some businesses that I think it's most appropriate for, and that would follow the trend of businesses that are looking to increase their engagement with their audience, businesses that are looking to have their community and their audience and their client base celebrate milestones and achievements of the business. If they're celebrating an anniversary like 50 years in business or 10 years in business or an award that they've been recognized for or something, a challenge that they're participating in. These are all great times when you can literally gamify the process of getting your community to take action, of getting involved with your activities. These are your marketing activities, but you're recruiting your audience and your clients to participate and engage themselves with your brand by filling in an adult coloring page that is themed towards your business. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be an artistic business. You don't have to be doing like yourself. I know that it makes some sense within your business because you do children's graphic novels or children's coloring books, or children's comic books within your business. That it's not a very big leap to say, an adult coloring book or even a children's coloring book would make sense for my business. But I think, any business that where the business is providing a service that the consumer, the buyer of the service, and it can be a B2B or B2C, but I think anywhere where the transaction is high ticket, where there's a big investment of money from the buyer,
yes,
where the service or product is delivered over a long period of time.
Right.
So it's something that they have to wait for, that they have to anticipate, where frequently the relationship between the vendor and the customer, sometimes, the relationship can take some knocks, and you can suffer some communication breakdowns as you're delivering a consulting intervention or a coaching service, or even a specific product build. Having this adult coloring book and having your clients during off times, during off minutes, when they're disengaged from the distractions of emails, and when they're allowing their brain just to subconsciously deal with their problems and their issues. Allowing them to do that in a way that reminds them of the actions that you want them to take. And it can be in, like daily affirmations, reasons why you want to stick it out in business. If it's like from GoDaddy, it can be jokes about, jokes from people who have succeeded from online businesses. And along with a design, that can be either geometric and really complex, or really art-based, and even from a photograph, but that is connected to what GoDaddy provides to their customers.
Interesting. And so if I wanted to create my own adult coloring book for my business right now, let's walk through a few examples.
Right.
Let's say we have a realtor, somebody who sells real estate.
Yes. Awesome.
Their customers are pretty high ticket. The sales are fairly infrequent, and they need to maintain that relationship with the client for months or years in between sales. How would a realtor come to you and say, Debbie, I want to incorporate adult coloring books into my business? What would that look like?
Great question. Thank you. How it would look on an individual basis for the business, I actually try and keep it really simple. And I've discovered that it's way more simple to create and publish an adult coloring book or an activity book, even than a written book usually or often would be. I know we do our written books really easily within Authority Agency, and we love that. But even still, if all that you have the time or the commitment to do is to say, you know what, I want an adult coloring book that is visual descriptions and designs that people can get involved with coloring, that represent the values that we commit to bringing to our clients. So whatever the value list is, or whatever the bucket list is that you want to serve your clients, however you visually depict that. Is that vacations? So maybe you're showing an ocean scene as an adult coloring book. Maybe it is investments in art. Okay, so let's make it a Starry Night by Van Gogh. Okay. Color it in. Maybe it's lifestyle experiences that are the benefits of using your service or of hiring your business. And so what you want to do is, if it's a lifestyle experience, maybe it is a concert where you go see One Direction. And so you choose something like a licensed Color Me In One Direction coloring book. You see, the themes of adult coloring books don't really matter too much. All it has to do is be connected to the message that you want your clients to be engaged with while they're enjoying the adult coloring book that you've given to them. And a lot of people, this is a huge trend for people who are into the trend.
Right.
For people who haven't heard of it yet, they're like, what are you talking about? It's such a huge trend. I haven't even heard of it yet. And like you said at the beginning of our conversation, now the listeners will probably walk away from this and start to see where adult coloring books are popping up. But if you actually go looking for them, if you look for it on Facebook, you'll see groups of people who are participating in adult coloring on Facebook where they have 15,000 members. And all day long, they're sharing their adult coloring pages that they have completed, that they've drawn, and they're saying which book they got it in. And sharing links to Amazon. So they're promoting the books that they're buying, that they're spending money on. They're typically, this is a great way of selling more print books. If you published text-based books before, very often right now, a lot of business owners and professionals who are publishing their own books, they're going with launching ebooks first.
Okay.
Because it's difficult to sell a volume of printed books.
I see.
Right? And so with adult coloring books, it's natural to buy a printed book, print on demand. So it's a great way to get a volume of printed books with your brand out there and distributed to key individuals.
Wow, fascinating. And so, Debbie, help me to picture where within my company the adult coloring book campaign or the adult coloring book offer could fit. Is this something that I would sell to my clients? How would that work?
And that's a sort of complex question because it depends for every business. It really depends on what you want, what results you want from, and what is really specifically, what are the business results that you want to achieve?
Yes.
But my recommendation and sort of the low-hanging fruit for this is, we're coming up on October. If you haven't set yet what it is that you're giving away to your key clients this year as holiday gifts or as seasonal gifts or as quarterly calendars or whatever other sort of premium, this is a great way to literally jump the shark of a trend and make sure that your holiday gift this year from your company to either your customers, your clients, your prospects, or even to your staff, to make sure that the gift that you're giving this year is absolutely 100% on trend. Right. And every year you struggle to know if what you're getting is cool enough, is going to be really that people are going to be happy to receive it. This year, if you create and publish your own adult coloring book, you can know 100% that your gift this year will be on trend. And it's not only for businesses. I mean, you could even do it for private events within your life. If you wanted, at the end of the summer, like for a family reunion or, 25th or 50th wedding anniversary, you could always publish images in adult coloring book just privately. You don't even have to necessarily publish them publicly and try and sell them to the public as a branding or marketing tool. It can be something that you use to engage a private group of friends or family.
I see. Very interesting. Very interesting. So how long does it take to complete one of these coloring books? I know you mentioned it typically doesn't take as long as it does to write a traditional nonfiction business book, but about how long might I need to allocate to creating one of these custom coloring books?
Right. Start to finish, you're probably talking about a 4 to 6 week process.
Okay.
So it is really totally reasonable for this holiday season for your business, and or even, if you have personal events coming up that you just want 20 or 50 or 100 copies made up for a private event, you can have it done in a fairly short period of time. And if we needed to really put a rush on it, I'm sure we could turn around printed copies being ready, print on demand within 10 days. But your amount of effort, the beauty of what I'm discovering with this and how simple it can be, of course, like anything, like planning a wedding, like doing a Google Plus Hangout on air, like doing a book, you can make it as complex and as big and as huge of a project as you want, or you can really streamline it and make it simple. And so I like to do what I'm proposing is either virtually or in person, doing workshops and classes that are create and publish your own adult coloring books. And it can be done in a couple of hours in an evening, either over in an afternoon over lunch and learn, or in an evening with your friends over a couple of bottles of wine. Because as much of your effort that's included is really just selecting what is the themes and what are the images. And even if you don't have the images yourself on file, you can just tell me, I want to create an adult coloring book that is all based on butterflies. And here's the reason why. And I want a series of quotes and some other activity pages, like perhaps some Sudoku or themed word find or themed crossword puzzles. And here are the words that I would like included in the themes. So you can really customize it so that it makes sense for your business and for what action you want the people who you're giving the book to take.
Wow, this is very cool. Very, very interesting indeed. So, Debbie, if we want to engage you on the adult coloring books for business process, how can we do that? Where can we get more information?
The best way to reach me is with my email, debbie.horovitch@gmail.com. So Debbie is DEBBIE Horovitch, HOROVITCH @gmail.com. And you can use that to connect with me on LinkedIn or even on Facebook. And also there is the I think it's a public group on Facebook, which is the Adult Coloring Books for Business.
Okay.
So if you search for it by name, you can find it and join. And, suggest a location if you want me to come to your city and speak about adult coloring books and host a workshop. I'd be more than happy to do so.
This is very, very interesting stuff. Folks, I think the holiday season is going to be quite exciting this year, especially if you're able to implement this in your business. We've been talking to the dynamic Debbie Horovitch. She's a very seasoned advertising media professional. She's worked with all the big companies over in Canada and the United States, and she is currently leading the charge with adult coloring books for business. Get in touch with Debbie if you'd like to implement this for your clients. Your clients are already doing this, and they're going to love you if you give them one that's branded for your business. Debbie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks, we will talk to you on the next episode. Until then, enjoy your adult coloring books. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.